I don't chase, I attract is a very important saying, even in business, because you want to attract. You don't want to chase people to want you. You don't want to chase anything. You want to attract it, and then it synchronizes somehow into your life. The Kardashians had Peace Love World on their show for over a year, every single episode. And if they weren't wearing them and they were filming in Kris's bedroom, for instance, she would have it hanging on like the coat rack. Always dedicated to making sure that it got airtime. That's the kind of person Kris Jenner is.
How did you get Oprah to wear your clothes?
Oh my God. When Oprah's office called my office, I was like, what? And they said I had to wait 2 weeks for the phone call. I'm like, no. I called right back and said, hello. Grit. My God, grit. You got to work for it. Nobody's coming to save you. Not in love, not financially. Nobody's coming to save you.
Wow.
Don't be looking for your sugar daddy. Become the sugar mama.
You have to make decisions that even in chaos, you can choose peace. Even in heartbreak, you can give love and you can be happy. Even when life knocks you down, you can rise.
You really need to know where you're going. Even if the path changes, you can't go home and cry and think that it's going to fix itself. It is not going to fix itself. You've got to make decisions, and you got to work towards this. As hard as they are, as dark as they are, as scary as they are, you have got to work towards the end result, because it doesn't happen by itself. When you become love, you attract love.
Today on CHABÁN Podcast. CHABÁN Podcast is presented by Yes You Can, your healthy lifestyle with a Latin flavor. Yes You Can Medical, the telemedicine platform that brings you closer to your best version. Visit now yesyoucanmedical.com.
Hola, hola. Welcome to a brand new episode of the CHABÁN Podcast. I'm so grateful you guys are here. Whether you've been with us since day one or this is your very first episode, thank you so much. This space was created for all of you, for heart-opening conversations that help us grow, heal, evolve, and build the life we truly deserve. If you haven't already, go and subscribe right now so we can keep expanding this beautiful community. And of course, a huge shout out to our amazing partners at yesyoucan.com and yesyoucanmedical.com who continue to support this mission with the best tools for a healthy lifestyle. There are moments in life when everything falls apart, right? And I think we all have two choices. We either stay down or we rise. In 2009, I was a struggling actor living in Los Angeles. I had done TV, Univision, Telemundo. I had a name. I had dreams. But somewhere between auditions and survival, I lost everything. I lost everything financially. I lost everything emotionally. I lost everything spiritually. And I hit rock bottom. And suddenly, the guy who had been on red carpets was now starting over. And I was starting over as a waiter. I remember waking up one day and asking, why is this happening to me? Right? That whole fight. But that question kept me stuck, kept me on the same place. So I started asking myself a better question. What is this here to teach me? And that's when I realized I am more than one thing. Yes, I was an actor, but I was also a writer. I was also a creator, an entrepreneur, a leader. And, from that rock bottom, I built something that would change life. I reinvented myself because I decided failure is not an option. And I built Yes You Can, the #1 health platform for my people, for my community, a voice for the Hispanic community. So Yes You Can was born not out of perfection, but it was born out of pain, out of purpose, and the refusal to give up. And that's why I admire today's guest so deeply. Because some people are born into comfort, and other people, like Alina Villasante, my really good friend, my sister, are born into challenge and choose to rise anyway. And that maybe, or I think that's her superpower, right? You don't take opportunity for granted. You build from grit. You make beauty out of nothing. So today, Alina Villasante is the founder of Peace Love World, a global brand worn by Oprah, J-Lo, the Kardashians, Dancing with the Stars. But behind the glamorous and the beauty of a woman, of a Latina woman who has survived betrayal, heartbreak, and hard reinvention, I think her story hit home for me. Because like Alina, I truly believe that if you have ever fallen flat, if you have ever felt like you were behind, if you have been wondering, why isn't this working? Probably this episode is also for you. So failure is only when you give up. If you learn something, it's not failure. It's a step forward. So if you're still here, if you're still breathing, if you're still trying, good. You haven't failed. You're just moving forward. You're just getting started. So, welcome to the Chabán Podcast, my sister, Alina.
You have me in tears. First of all, I love your accent.
De verdad.
Me encanta.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Me encanta. So I'm invited to his English podcast. I don't know if I'm insulted that I wasn't invited to the Spanish one, but no. I mean, my brother, I love him so much. The honesty and the trust between us is honestly what friendship should be all about. We call each other in the good times. We call each other in the bad times. We ask her advice. We don't lie. And that is worth so much money. So much money. I mean, if everyone could be like that, the world would be incredible.
I was totally in love with you. I remember telling Luzma, our great friend, Luz Maria Doria, I was like, I want to meet her. I'm your fan. So Luzma was the one to introduce us, remember?
Yes, Luzma, our beautiful Luzma.
Wow. So Alina, okay. When I think about failure and I think about, moving forward and not quitting, I always think about you. So how many failures did it take to make that your truth?
So, I feel like I've had a very blessed life because I am a Cuban immigrant. I've watched my parents leave Cuba with no money, not speaking English, having their car stolen, snowstorms, a bunch of kids, a 2-bedroom apartment with I had 4 brothers. I still have 4 brothers. And so I have learned grit in my life. I think that, our generation of Cubans, for sure, I can only speak for mine, we weren't handed anything. We had to work for it. So it's not like our kids. If they trip and fall, we can pretty much pick up the pieces, right? Back then, that wasn't an option. If you wanted something, you had to work for it. So I think I was born with that innate ability to know that I couldn't count on anyone, that I had to count on myself. And, I think that in the darkest days of my life, what really kept me afloat was one question. You give up and it's over. That is a guaranteed fail. You give up and it's over.
Yes You Can is the #1 nutrition system for Latinos in the United States. It features supplements made with natural, clinically proven ingredients and designed in a 3-phase plan to detoxify, transform, and maintain your best version. Visit yesyoucan.com today and get started.
So what you got to do is you got to hang on to the thread, to the glass of wine, to whatever it is, you got to hang on. And there was a time with Peace Love World. I had my dark time in Peace Love World. I had a partner I didn't want. I picked the wrong person. And things went sour very fast. And, I remember somebody told me, why don't you just give up? Like, why do you need to do this? And I said, what? Give up? I mean, that would mean that everything that I've worked so hard for is over. So on the other side of this is success, and all you can do is take one day at a time. And for me at that time, it was getting through the days.
Wow.
Getting through the days. How am I going to get to the point of beginning again? And it was one day at a time. It's almost like when my husband and I, parted ways, it was very painful. And I remember saying to myself, you can't go from A to Z without going through B, C, D, G, E, F, G. everything is like that. There is no instant gratification. There is no instant, I was an overnight success after 5 years, said everyone.
With Peace, Love, World?
With anything, people say, anything you touch turns to gold, or you're an overnight success. Well, yeah, you weren't grinding with me those 5 years where you don't sleep at night. And, when you have a business, Alejandro, and you know this, it's not about you. You carry the weight for so many families, for so many people. They eat because they work for you. They depend on you to provide something for them while they're providing something for you. So I've always had that mentality, when you walk into work, all these people are doing things for the better of the company. It's your responsibility to make sure this company goes in the right direction. Because you let a lot of people down.
So going back to that episode for Peace, Love, World, let's start over. How did that start?
So, we had sold our aviation company in 2000.
Yeah, how did you go from aviation to fashion?
In my aviation company, everything was running really smooth. We had 150 employees. It was really a weld oil machine at that point. And we sold, and I was dabbling into designs and just kind of like as a hobby. And I had my IT guy, and he would help me with things. And I remember when we sold Peace, Love, World, I had designed, I am peace, I am love, I am happiness, I am blessed, I am chaos. And I said, I'm going to have black and white T-shirts and hoodies. I'm going to have them on a website. Nobody's going to know who I am. I don't want any color. I don't want a phone number. It was just this idea. I think subconsciously it was a bigger idea than what I give it credit for, but consciously it wasn't. I walked across to the warehouse across the street and I started Peace, Love, World. And
the same day?
The same month, let's say.
So how did you celebrate selling your company, first of all?
I didn't.
Oh.
Because in 2008 is when the market crashed. Everything crashed. And we closed our deal in January 19th, 2009, when all my friends were losing everything. It was like a horrible time to have great success and celebrate it. So literally, this was like a hot flash moment here. Me, my assistant, and Frank, the father of my kids, went into an office, shut the door. We had one of those like giant check things, and we took a picture and we celebrated that moment. My life went right back to normal. I didn't buy anything new. I didn't do anything new. And I couldn't really tell people because it's like, how can you tell someone that you just celebrated one of your biggest achievements, right? And the world was crumbling. So I always felt, looking back, that, and I look at this a lot and I think about it, why was I given this in a time of so much trouble? Like, was there a reason that I was supposed to be successful when it was So anyway, Peace, Love, World starts, and I have all these shirts, I have all this merchandise. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this.
You just went online?
I went on American Apparel.
Okay.
I bought blanks. And from babies to men to women to onesies to everything. And I think I invested $50,000. And I said, I'm going to print all this. I didn't know what I was doing.
Looking to reset your body and take control of your health? Discover how GLP-1 medications can help balance your hormones, control insulin, reduce hunger, and help you feel fuller longer. All with expert medical guidance every step of the way. Just fill out a quick questionnaire at yesyoucanmedical.com and get your medication delivered straight to your door. No contracts, no subscriptions, just real support. Your healthy transformation starts today at yesyoucanmedical.com.
I remember Alejandra, my assistant, calls me when the shipment comes in and she goes, oh my God, everything's here. And I'm like, what are we going to do with this? Like, where are the boxes? Anyway, I was moving from my house to the beach house at the time, and I had already bought it, but my kids were traumatized that we were moving. And so I'm rewinding here because the truth is we were in due diligence when the stuff came back, when the stuff arrived. Okay. We hadn't sold yet.
Okay. You were in the process of selling.
I had already bought my new house and everything. We were in the process of selling. The deal falls apart in December because of a general ledger glitch. We didn't know if we were going to lose the deal, what was going to happen. It was Christmas. Nobody cared about us.
Oh my God.
So Anyway, come January, all this inventory
You had already bought the house.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't know we were... No. I had already...
Okay.
It was all a coincidence because we started getting offers in July and we closed in January. And I had already bought this house before that, but my kids were graduating from school and, you know, we were like kind of transitioning from one house to the other. The dad already lived on that block. Anyway, long story short, this merchandise comes in. We're in the middle of due diligence. Everybody that visits me at my house gets handed an invoice book and literally stands behind the bar. All the boxes are under the pool tables, in the kitchen, in the bedrooms. And anybody that would come over, there were lines of people coming to my house for these T-shirts, these black and white T-shirts. My kids in Gulliver, I think, were the reason that this exploded so much because they were very popular. Sorry, I have my nose itches. They were very popular in school, and they were wearing it, and they were showing it, and they were having trunk shows, and it just became chaotic. To tell
Were they
you,
just black or do
black,
they already have?
No, black and white with I am peace, I am love, I am happiness, I am blessed, I am chaos.
Okay.
That's it. Black and white T-shirts, hoodies, onesies, whatever. I had so much inventory. And people would go to my house. My friends would sell. The kids would have trunk shows. They would sell $85,000 in a trunk show. I mean, I realized in this moment of chaos that the world was really hungry for something bigger. I didn't know what I was doing. I know it came from my soul. I wanted it to be, I think, a hobby subconsciously. And it really became like the biggest thing in all the schools, with all the kids in all the neighborhoods. And, you know, that also tells you how powerful living in an international city is because we're the gateway to many places. We have so many different cultures here. So I touch your culture, you touch your culture. You know, it's like that 6 degree of separation. And Peace Love World was born like that. I went to my first trade show not even knowing that I had to have line sheets. Target came to my booth. I'm like, there's a brand in front of me. I'm like, what are you showing them? And it was like the line sheets with the SKU numbers that people can order and they pre-order for their stores. I had no idea what I was doing. The great thing about having money is that you can do this. The worst thing about having money is that you can do this.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you really just kind of make crazy decisions because you can. So I don't know that without having so much exposure to all this product, it would have gone this viral this fast. But I think it was timing. I think it was 2008, 2009. The world was suffering. Just like, you know, it's funny because even today people say, oh my God, your brand is so perfect for now. Well, it's been perfect since then.
Wow.
Because we're all starving for love. We're all starving for peace. We all want to feel happy. We want to lay our head on the pillow and find peace in our hearts. The older we get, the more we crave it. And I think that probably I was looking for something and it just became part of what we're all looking for.
Wow.
And it became personal.
Why did you choose those specific phrases?
So love is because I've always been, I'm like love chick. And my son was born on Valentine's Day even, which is crazy. I would have love parties for my girlfriends. Every week after Valentine's Day, we would have, and they became wilder and wilder every year. And all my friends raising kids, running businesses. But this one day, and I would make T-shirts, and I hired my first party, a guy from Costco to be our bartender. And we, you know, women together, you're just wild. And we had so much fun. And it's all part of the whole birth of Peace Love World, friendship, community, you know, going through things in life and feeling that, you know, how great it feels to feel loved and to love others and how great it is to have peace, because when your life is not flowing correctly, the peace goes away, right? And you know that when things aren't right, it's like you're like, oh, I don't want to have this feeling again. I don't want to go through this again, right? It's that. And then happiness, you know, it is a choice. And I'm not going to say it's a choice for everybody, but it is a choice because we have to choose. And I think you're the king of this. We have to choose to put a smile on our face and be happy when we're not all the time, right?
Yeah.
We have to. I recently was going through something at QVC with someone, one of my very greatest friends, and I'm not a performer. I wish I was, but I'm not. And had a show, and something happened right before the show, and I called my boyfriend and I said, you know, my heart is broken, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you've got to go out there and just put your face. I went out there and I couldn't do it. Again, I'm not a performer.
Yeah.
And at the end, my friend says, what was that? I said, I'm sorry. And probably the customer noticed, but I was having a moment. And those are the moments that, you know, we have to choose to kind of, I still think about that, and it makes me, you know, we've surpassed it, but it was a moment. And I just think that, you know, all this, it's not so like peace, love, tchotchke. It's not. It's really soul. It's really spiritual. It's really connection. It's friendships. It's, Alejandro, you and I have something so beautiful. And I have to say that if either of us are going through something rough, or we have private information about our businesses and then we need advice, we don't sugarcoat it. Like, and I love that. I love that about you, because sometimes we need each other, you know, and the world is not perfect.
And we all need the truth.
The truth.
Right? Yeah.
You know, when my kids were in school and I would call somebody, you know, is your kid so, oh no, he's a straight A student. You know, your kid's failing. It's not that misery loves company, but you need to know that you're not alone here.
Yeah.
Can somebody help me?
Yeah. So your business starts growing. How did you get Oprah to wear your clothes?
Oh my goodness. That was a phone call.
Okay. Which one was first? Oprah, J-Lo, the Kardashians? Let's keep up.
J-Lo, Britney Spears, Halle Berry. So, and then Dancing with the Stars. I mean, Dina Katz, the producer of Dancing with the Stars, would bring me over. That's where I met William Levy and a lot of people.
So what
and
was the first celebrity that wore your clothes?
So I remember being in San Tropez, now that you tell me. And I was sleeping, and I wake up, and my phone blew up, J-Lo. So what really,
Randomly. Did you know J-Lo?
I didn't know her at the time.
Okay.
I didn't know her at the time. It was funny because what started happening was when anybody was going through something or getting a divorce or whatever, they would come out in our sweatsuit that said either I am happy or I am blessed or I am love. And the media translated it to they're sending us a message.
Oh, smart.
And that's where it was so-and-so came out and she's leaving from so-and-so, but she's wearing this. And what is the message? So it almost became like they started wearing things to share their feelings with the world without speaking. Kris Jenner, I just told her 2 days ago how gorgeous she looks, but she...
Can you share
so I met her
on what she did on her face?
Well, we all know.
What did she do?
She had the best doctor. It's all over social media. It's not a secret.
But is it the actual truth?
Yeah, it's the truth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I met her on Dancing with the Stars, and I kind of had a friendship with Rob, her son. I don't even know how that friendship started, but we really hit it off, and we were emailing and texting, and I remember that I was talking to him, and his handler came to get him, and he says, she was with Bruce at the time, don't leave, I'll be back. And I had the little bracelets, the blessed bracelets, all those, and I started talking to them. And that is how my relationship started with the Kardashians. She had it on her. The Kardashians wore it for a full year on their show. And if they weren't wearing it and there was a scene in Kris's bathroom or bedroom, she would have it hanging on the clothes hanger.
Wow.
And I would send packages and she would always offer her credit card. It wasn't like, give me this, send me this. It was always so respectful, so kind. And I'll never forget, I was at her house one day having sushi. And when I'm leaving, she says to me, let's take a photo. So we take a photo with her black and white. The next day, it's all over Entertainment Tonight. I mean, she's that person, you know, like Luzma, that they take you and they just, they're just good people. And when I was negotiating my QVC contract, she helped me because, you know, she's been there, done that. So I have so much respect for people like Luzma Doria and Chris and even Oprah, that they really, help women rise. They help people to become, and I love that because a lot of people aren't like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you get Oprah to wear your clothes?
Oprah. So Oprah's a great story, and we still agree to disagree. So I have an additional assistant at the time. When Oprah's office called my office, I was like, what? And they said I had to wait 2 weeks for the phone call. I'm like, no. I called right back and said, hello.
Wow.
All I knew is I couldn't wait 2 weeks. So I have to tell you about my Oprah story.
Please.
So I go with my cousin. I have my first meeting, and they want me to bring samples because they're doing the Life You Want tour. And I guess I'm one of the candidates to merchandise and go on tour with Oprah. So I get to Chicago on a plane that has 2 people because there's a snowstorm. And I go with my cousin. When we drive up in the car, there's that Oprah sign. I'm like, we got to get out and take a picture. And we get out and take a picture. And I'm all excited. I have presents for everybody. It's Adam Glassman. Like, everybody's there. So I get into the building. I go into this room. And Jill calls from a room. And she goes, have all your samples ready. And we'll be out in 10 minutes. And I'm like, what samples? So I sent my samples to another person, which I think was William Morris, because they're in California, they're in Chicago, they're in New York, and this person asked me for the samples. So I'm in Chicago, and my samples are in California. And I say to her, what samples? I'm going into panic mode. And she goes, what do you mean you don't have samples? So I have my girl in my New York showroom showing to Amazon at that moment. She has a meeting with Amazon. And I call her up and I said, you have got to FaceTime me and pull up samples. I opened every present I bought everybody. I laid everything on the table. I had umbrellas and T-shirts and anything you can imagine.
Was Oprah there?
Oprah's not there. All her team is there.
Okay.
Like, all of them. I think it was 12 people. I'm panicking, okay? Sitting on the table. There's these 2 women, Peggy and I forget her name. My mind just went blank. Anyway, and I see these women look at me with this really kind heart. And I suddenly felt like safe, right? So I said, so I had a little bit of a problem that I sent my samples to so-and-so. But I have presents for everyone, and I can show you. And Margot's here in New York with Amazon, who didn't leave the room because they were so intrigued by this. And she had the iPad, and her person was like pulling things up as I was showing them. So then they give me the whole tour of Oprah Studios, where the Harper Studios was all these years. And there's a room, and there's like 2 other brands in that room. And she says, oh, these are the brands that we were considering for the tour. But I love Peace Love World. I said, how did you find out about me? My LA store. I had the LA Hollywood store that I had with the Hudson News stores. Oh. So she found me in a store in California.
Wow.
And that's how it happened. Anyway, long story short, it was the hardest deal I ever did in my life. I probably made no money. It was my biggest order ever. And I remember Adam calls me right before we're going on tour, and he says, is everything going to be on time? And I said, absolutely. And I call the father of my kids, who's my partner, I go, is everything going to be on time? We would fly out production people to each city to make sure that everything got there. I mean, behind the scenes, it was so chaotic. And the funny thing is that in the beginning, they loved my designs, but then they had like all these people involved. I remember they took me to, I think it was New York or California, and there was this large table, and they said, she's in charge of design, she's in charge of everything. And I think we did a beautiful design, and then people kept changing it. And by the time it changed, I'm like, this doesn't even look like Peace Love World anymore. And so I told Jill, I said, what do you like? And she goes, well, what do you like? I said, well, I feel like you hired me for my designs, and I feel like we kind of got away from that. And she said to me, okay, what do you like? And we went back to center.
Wow.
And it was phenomenal. It was the hardest thing I ever did. It was the most fulfilling thing I ever did. At the rap party in, I think it was Santa Barbara, at the rap party, I remember walking in with my fedora, and when I walked in, everybody was there, Rob Bell, Gail, everybody, Oprah and Gail were at the bar. and they kind of saluted and said thank you, because it was rough.
Was that the day you met Oprah?
No, I met her all on tour.
Okay.
Yeah, I met her all on tour. She's fantastic. Her team is the lesson I learned here was, her team was, it's all about your team. It's about the people you surround yourself with. It's about everybody working for the same goal. You can't be a one-man team. You can't be a control freak. I know we want things our way, and we do, but you kind of have to hear a little bit of everybody. And they were such a well-oiled machine. I learned a lot from them.
Wow. So what's your advice? Like if I want to get those relationships, what's your advice? How do you get to nurture those relationships?
I think authenticity is very, very important. I think that if I actually went after these people, maybe like they were my goal, they shouldn't be my goal, right? I'm so blessed that it happened, but I feel that all these people came because of a message, because of a feeling, because of something that we all want. So it was so organic in its own way. Yes, I was connected to so many powerful people that by these people getting their hands on something of mine, they were spreading the message themselves. But, product is king. The message is king. You can't, and I've seen it on QVC, you can't make somebody like something just because you have the following.
Wow.
It just doesn't work that way. So product is king, and I think the story is important. They're just people that are magnificent, that are great where they're at. They're phenomenal leaders. They have a message and they have a story that everybody wants.
That's probably, they were also vibrating on your
Exactly.
energy.
And you're vibrating on the same energy. Yeah. And I've maintained a lot of those relationships. I don't ask for anything. I don't, like if somebody says, oh, I really can't do it because I didn't do it for myself. And I think everybody wants a piece of them. So the worst thing you can do is ask them for a piece of them.
Wow. So now, do you believe in networking? What's your definition of networking?
So you and I, we're a network. Luzma is a network. Going to the Despierta America is a network. My QVC family is my network. So all these people have legs. Yesterday I was with Miguel Angel. And, Laura Geller, makeup artist, is a very good friend of mine. And I had left my palettes there. And he goes, oh, I love her makeup. Oh, you know her? And it's not that I purposely know her, but, she did something to me. My first day on air, Laura Geller comes walking by. And she stops and she turns around. She goes, darling, you're going to be a star. Just like that. And I will never forget that because it was like my first day. So, networking is about, one of the things you said, it's being aligned in the same frequency, working towards the same goals.
Wow.
So I don't work for money. Money is the reward for what I do. I don't work for money. Normally when
Can you explain that? What's your definition of money today?
So money is, buys a lot of great things. It buys comfort. But it also can be very lonely if you're not in the right space. So when I design a line, I don't have dollar signs in my head. When I design a line, I think of my customer. I think about what she looks like. I think about what she wants to feel. I don't think of just my own body because I used to, kind of design for just me. And I had to learn how to go to the plus size. I had to learn a lot of things that you want to make something that makes others feel fantastic. And you're doing it because you have a product that helps others feel and look their best. Right? So you're not thinking cash. Oh, this is going to be no, you're thinking when I had my big day, I wasn't thinking.
She just broke the biggest record, by the way. Can you please flaunt it?
No, wait,
please
but don't say it out.
No. Just celebrate it.
No, I just had a really successful day. But what I want to say is when I designed the product for that day. And
Excuse me. She broke a fucking record.
Yeah, we are a team, okay? And I am the closer.
She's trying to be humble.
No, wait. So we start from the beginning and I got to get to the end. There's a lot of people in between. So when you go on air and you succeed, you bring a lot. It's like Tom Brady throwing it. Yeah. Somebody's got to catch it.
Going back to the money concept, because I think it's important to talk about it, because I think money just expands who you already are.
Absolutely.
Right? If you're an asshole, then money makes you a bigger
asshole.
Exactly. So what's your definition of money and how do you really continue to expand on it?
So I think when you have money, besides having the comforts, you can help people. You can, help grow. You can help people grow. You can have your employees grow. You can have your team grow. There's so much opportunity when you're doing well for so many people. And that's like a home run because I have to tell you, I love my team. And to keep them around me, I have to be successful. Because if not, how can I keep them around me?
Wow.
So we've built, my longest employee is 26 years. My shortest is, I think, 11 years. And
does that idea keep you going sometimes?
Yes. Yes. Like I have Martica in accounting now makes my celery juice in the morning. And I say, but I want everybody to have the celery juice. She's very once she does it, she always does it. And then I'm like, Martica, you have some too, because I know she's on a health kick. And then now she's serving Alejandra and Vanessa in accounting and my son Christopher and Frank is having it and Mia. So now there's all these celery juices. So all that to me is part of the success. It's having this team of all of us that are working towards a huge dream. And, I feel like the matriarch. I've got to be okay. I got to bring the energy. I have to bring, Kike, our friend over there, he's witnessed it many times. They boss me around, by the way. Kike, they boss me around, right? Well, Kike bosses me around. So yeah, success is that. You build this beautiful team, you build this business that continues to grow, and you have a family that's not blood. That is.
How about the dark moments?
Oh my God, the dark moments. You know what? I got to tell you something about the dark moments. When I hit rock bottom, that I did not know how I was going to pay anyone, which I always did. It was my number one. They didn't leave me.
Were you open about it?
Absolutely.
Did you tell them?
Absolutely. They knew everything. And the fact.
How did you navigate through that? Can you walk us through it? Like if someone is navigating through a dark moment.
So the first thing you got to do is you got to identify where you want to go. You're down here, and where do you want to go, and how are you going to get there? And you got to put a plan in place. Just recently, my dad passed last September, and I didn't know I was grieving because, I think we grieve differently when we have a happy whatever. And I was really, really grieving a lot. And I recently went on a trip and that I didn't want to go on. And for whatever reason, getting away from everything, I realized all the pain that I had and everything that I was feeling. And I made a lot of big decisions on that trip. And I think when my company, so I got a really bad partner, and who
almost stole the company, right?
Yes, trademarks, my name, everything.
How did you get into that partnership?
So I didn't want to produce because producing is not my forte. So I said, let me find an equal partner. Somebody recommended him. I had somebody else. Somebody brought him in at the last minute, and I heard that they kind of benefited from it. And we were just not aligned in any way, shape, or form. I was selling at the time to Neiman, Saks. I had 2,000 boutiques, 9 stores. I was starting to close my stores because I started noticing that the traffic was not the same in the malls. And my mother's like, why are you closing your stores? I go, I just don't feel like, the stress of the stores and this and the other. I closed my last store. Every time my lease was up, I would close a store. I was signing QVC. I signed this guy. It was all happening at the same time. My mother gets a brain tumor. I break up with my boyfriend. Mind you, all these moving parts are happening at the same time. July 4th weekend, it all explodes. So I signed QVC. I have the partner, my mom, my boyfriend. I'm going to have like a nervous breakdown. But so that happens. I get through that part. I start with the partner. Now he's wanting to take my QVC checks, okay? Because now we're 50-50 partners. It starts with that. He's delivering to Neiman, Saks, and all these people at the same time as the off-price. Now your brand's becoming questionable. Everything. So it started getting worse and worse. He wasn't paying me. He wasn't paying. My daughter ran the marketing department. He wasn't paying
the agency.
It was bad. My daughter quits one day. She goes, I'm not quitting you, I'm quitting him. He goes, she can't quit because she can do whatever she wants. Anyway, we get to a point where things were getting so bad that I decide to get an attorney in New York, which was very, very expensive. And one thing I'm going to tell you here, that if you've never done this, when we did our contract, so trust your lawyer, but always be involved. When I got the contract, I said, I want to add a clause.
You did?
I said, I want to add a clause. If he doesn't sell what I sell or more within a 12-month period, I get the option to buy my company back. And that clause saved my life. Wow. Last minute, last day, I added that clause. And it saved my company. Wow.
What happened? What happened?
Well, when I went to New
months?
York and I got a lawyer, and I loved my lawyer because he wasn't like a nasty person. He was fair. He was quiet. The judge put a restraining order on him day one, and I ended up getting my company back. But that period of legal, I have never been involved in any legal things like that. Literally, I would go home every day. I didn't eat. I lost 24 pounds in a month. And I would have a glass of wine. I would go to bed. And all I wanted to do was get through the day and get to the next day. And I just knew there were days where I just wanted to just let it all go. And in my head, I said, no, you can't do that, because the minute you do that, it's over. You got to fight till the end. And I believed in my brand. I believed in my team. Nobody left me. Nobody left me.
So you were going through
this.
If
I was working for someone and I saw this kind of stress financially in a business, I don't know, wouldn't you say, I need to find another job because, right? Nobody did it. Nobody did it. They all stuck with me. They're still with me. And the lessons I learned at that time changed the person that I am, how I appreciate life, how I appreciate people. It's not all about money.
What lessons did you learn?
I mean, it's just that not quitting, and also, Alejandro, you talk about this a lot, focus. You really need to know where you're going. Even if the path changes, you can't go home and cry and think that it's going to fix itself. It is not going to fix itself. You've got to make decisions, and you got to work towards this as hard as they are, as dark as they are, as scary as they are. You have got to work towards the end result, because it doesn't happen by itself. And even at QVC, people stood by me. It was just amazing. The experience was amazing. Am I glad it happened? No, but I'm so different now.
You grew.
I appreciate everything, including a nice meal in a nice restaurant. I never take anything for granted, ever. And I think it taught my kids a lot, because, they have never had to suffer the way we suffered when we were young, right? And
From the business perspective, what lessons did you learn?
I mean, partnerships.
But they're all wrong, or you have to basically
they're not
choose
all,
them?
No.
Oh, I like that. Where you're going.
No, they're not all wrong.
Okay.
You have to be like-minded people. You have to work towards the same goal. You're allowed to disagree, agree to disagree. That's okay. That actually is very good for you. No, I want to do this. No, I want to. That's great. But when you're on two separate paths and you're not even culturally the same, there's a lot of things that were wrong. And
what did you learn about choosing the right partner? Why didn't you choose the right one the first time?
Why didn't I? I think because I just did it too fast. I did it too fast. And everything looks pretty in the beginning. I think that relationships, just like marriage and everything else, I mean, look at you and I. They're not born in a day. They start, they grow, they go through things. Like on my friend at QVC, we had a little bump in the road, but you can't. I look back and say, you don't forget who that person was, who that person is. We do go through things. I mean, we all go through things. And
how did you celebrate the end of that journey? Because
never speaking his name again.
God bless
his heart. I said I will never speak his name again. And I went full-blown QVC. And I slowly went back to my website, and I was careful about everything that I did, every decision that I made.
Wow.
Yeah. I think a lot. I focus a lot. Align myself around great people. And I listen to the customer, because the customer tells you what she wants. I mean, you know that. Yeah. Have you ever made something they don't want?
Yeah, I have, because I was not listening to
And you're
them.
like, but I like it.
I know. That's my favorite flavor. Exactly. That's yours, not
So
theirs.
you know what I do now when I make a sample that I love, and then I have a team of 24 people, and they're like, yeah, she's not going to like that. I go, but what do you mean? This is like amazing. She's not going to wear that huge barrel pant. And I'm like, you know what? I'll keep the sample, and I'll wear it myself.
Exactly. So what's now after making those, decisions, and I love what you said about decisions. You have to make decisions, even if they're hard.
You have to be the driver in your life.
Yeah, because as Tony Robbins says, something that I love, it's in the moment of decisions that your destiny is created.
Absolutely.
Right?
You've got to make
when
decisions.
You're not making decisions, you're actually shaping your destiny as well.
Absolutely.
So now...
It's the number one most important thing a CEO or an owner has. And the CEO of Disney, that was his number one quality, make a decision. Good, bad, or indifferent, make it. Have a direction. And I now always make decisions. Wow. I'm very decisive on what I want. I'm like, and if I'm not sure, I ask somebody. I'm like, okay, and that's it. I don't puddle around it anymore.
Wow. What's your relationship with fear now? Are you fearful of making the wrong decision?
No.
After that experience?
No. I mean, I think we all have fear every day, right? There's so many uncertainties in the world, but I'm a person.
How do you move through it?
Do you
feel it?
All my life, I'm scared, but I'm going, because the only way to just not move is to not move. You got to go. You got to go, because you know what? We're all the same. And why are all these people so much better? Because they did it. So we all are born with a gift.
When Oprah calls, or J-Lo calls, or the Kardashians call, like, do you still feel the same
Absolutely.
fear?
And
how do you go through
it? It's not fear. No, I don't have fear.
It's excitement.
It's more like, I don't want to disappoint. What do they want from me, and how can I do it great?
Okay.
Right? I don't want to disappoint. I want people to come to me and really receive something amazing, even from this podcast or from something I say. Like it's just like hurting somebody's feelings,
But you're not intimidated by it.
I'm not intimidated by it. No.
Where did you learn that? When?
When did I learn that? I think it's part of that whole being scared and doing it anyway. I'm not. I mean, I am starstruck sometimes. I'm not going to say I'm not, but they are just people. And if you can take everybody and understand that they're just people, but they have these great, like, you're great at what you do. I'm great at what I do. They're great at what they do. And that's why they became who they are. But they're just people, and they have hearts and souls and all those other things. And I think that when you're vibing on the same energy level, you can get a lot done. I mean, sometimes, I'm a little intimidated, but it's not really my thing to be intimidated.
Wow. So you move forward anyways.
I do.
Yeah. So when you're stuck, what's your first move? Like when you were stuck.
Exercise.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Exercise, for whatever reason, it just moves those endorphins and it gets everything going. I mean, you got to move. And when you stop moving, it all kind of starts getting stuck, I think, right?
Yeah.
Movement is so powerful.
Do you have mentors?
You.
Thank you. Wow.
I do.
I'm flattered.
I admire people and I watch them.
But do you watch them? Do you call them? Like, if you don't know something, you said that basically Kris Jenner, she also helped you through this whole process.
When I need something, I call the person.
Someone who has done it.
Yeah, I went through something a few years back that I called Oprah's president, because I knew that she had written a book with somebody that was something similar, and she connected me to that person. Because I don't want to go to a therapist to ask him about something that he hasn't gone through himself. So for me, it's important that if I'm going through something, I need to talk to someone who went through it and can really sit in my chair and understand what I'm feeling. And that's very important to me.
Yeah, like success leaves clues, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about something else. How did you get into QVC? and the massive success you've created.
Shannon Allen, I love you so much. Ray Allen from the Miami Heat, his wife Shannon, good friend of mine, another selfless woman, says to me one day, I want you to meet somebody. And I said, okay. So she introduces me to the owner of Philosophy who sold for $1.2 billion. And I fly to New York to have lunch with her, Christina. And she picks up the phone and she calls the vice president of QVC and says, I want you to meet somebody. And in 9 days, I had a $24 million contract.
Wow.
I mean, she changed my life. And if I tell you the power of friendship and lifting people and networking and sharing your goods and sharing your knowledge and sharing your network, you have no idea what you're doing for someone. To this day, every time I talk to her. The other day, my son calls me and goes, Mom, I want to go play at this golf course that Michael Jordan, it's Michael Jordan's golf course. Do you think I could ask Shannon or could you ask her? And I said, no, you call her and ask her. She's that kind of girl. Like if my son asked me something, like, you call Alejandro. I'm not going to call him for you. And he goes, Mom, she's like great. She was like, they're repairing it right now, but as soon as they have it back up, I'm going to get you on there. And it's that's the kind of people I want in my life. If you ask me for something, I'm going to move the damn mountain. I'm going to move it for you. I don't care what it is. If I can move it, I will move it.
But that's exactly, you're defining yourself because you are like that.
Yes.
So you attract who you are.
I absolutely. If you want something, whatever it is, I mean, ask Kike. He just asked me for a door and I bring him a door. No. But it's what I mean is like, you want to be with people that want to help you achieve your greatest things. And I feel like I've been so lucky to meet so many people like that.
But is it luck? Is it serendipity?
I mean, look, there is a certain amount of luck to a lot of things, but you've got to make things happen yourself. And, you know, I know that somebody said this talking about relationships that I don't chase, I attract is a very important saying, even in business, because you want to attract. You don't want to chase people to want you. You don't want to chase anything. You want to attract it. And then it synchronizes somehow into your life.
And if you want to attract it, it's because you are becoming that.
Right. And so my quote for my business is, love is not something you look for. Love is something you become. Because when you become love, you attract love.
Wow.
And it's the truth. And I would tell my daughter this all the time. Don't look for it. Attract it. Be everything that somebody wants.
Wow.
All right? And you will be everything they want.
I love this. So talking about love.
I love love.
You love love. You said
I overlove.
Love your ex-husband.
I love him so much.
How do you make peace with the past?
Because one of my ex-boyfriends once said that I don't delete people, I just add.
Oh, I love that.
So, you know, it's funny. When I met my boyfriend of 15 years, he said to me, you know, where I come from, there's only one dog in the pound. And I said, well, where you're coming, there's already a dog. So if you don't get along with him, you can't come to my pound. And there's a lot of mutual respect. It's respect. I respect Frank, the father of my kids, very much. I love him. His success is my success. They're our children. Their happiness and their future is in our hands. And anybody who cannot come into my world and accept that can't be in my world.
Wow.
And I love him unconditionally. I will do anything for him. And the feeling's mutual. And my boyfriend knows that. And he actually loves that about me now. He really does. And he'll even tell me, I love Frank too.
Oh, wow.
And it's a respectful relationship. I mean, they're not going golfing and boating every weekend or anything like that. But it's very respectful. And if something whatever happened, I know that whatever decision I make to take care of a family member, he'll be right there with me.
Wow.
And it's very important.
But you have created those respectful boundaries.
I've created those, absolutely.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Absolutely. And I love him. And
how did you learn that?
I think it's just I think it's the gift that I was born with. I think that I'm an empath, which is not such a great thing. I feel everything around me always. It's a hard thing to carry. But I can feel people's pain. I can feel a lot of things. And I just, I can't imagine a life where I marry this man and have these 3 beautiful children and I take away their father, that's just not the life I want. I won't ever be happy. You can't be happy. I mean, I can't.
And then you fell in love after
You're not
50.
that much different, by the way.
No. That's why we're friends. How does it feel differently to fall in love after 50?
Oh, it's just like you've been through so much. And I think that, you know, I think there's really not insecurities and jealousies. I think people are living their life and you have to lift each other and push each other and be there for each other. And, you know, sometimes get away from each other. But no, I think it's just different because I just want to be happy. Like people say, do you want to get married? I mean, it's not my ultimate goal. I think that once all the kids are big on both sides, but no, I just want to be happy. I want my kids to be happy. And that is my happiness. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Do you guys live in the same house?
No.
No. Oh, so that's
sleep,
part of the secret.
We sleep in the same house.
I like that.
But we go from house to house. And we bought a house together, a vacation house together.
I like that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your experience becoming a grandma.
Oh, my God. I could talk forever. I'm alive again. I'm born again. I feel this sense of happiness that I think after the loss of my dad, it's going to be, it's not a year yet, so cut me some slack. Yeah. I think, you know, my mom and I went through a really rough patch after my dad died. And we just reconciled 2 days ago, so it's still fresh. It was hard. But what was the question?
No, like...
Oh, being a grandma. Oh, I mean, they say it's a greater love, and I think it's a greater love because you love your kids so much, and they are a product of your children. And I think that's what it is. But, I mean, I've come up with all these songs, and I do all these crazy things, and I would love watching them become parents. It's just the most beautiful thing, and I think you worry a lot more about your grandchildren for whatever reason.
What do you remember about your dad?
Oh, he was just amazing. Honestly, there's no one like him. My daughter may have met a man like him. Yeah. No one like him. He was just pure. He was pure. He didn't kill bugs. He was just such a gentle, amazing, kind, beautiful man. And I don't have enough words for it. He was just amazing. And yeah, it was hard.
Wow.
It was his time though. You know, even though I didn't like how it ended, it was his time. And it was supposed to happen that way, but you don't like it, right? So,
were you able to make peace with him?
Yeah, I did. I absolutely did. I had a lot of peace with him, and we were very close, and I stayed with him until he went to the other side. I hate it because I was sleeping, but I need some water. Excuse me, I need some aloe. This is like dessert. It's like eating a cake. Okay. Anyway, I'm the same. I'm just like him. Everything in my fridge is facing forward. My dad, I slept in the hospital with him, just me and him. And I wanted to be there because when my grandfather died and my grandmother died, I was there. And with my grandmother is when I became very spiritual because I felt her leave her body. And then this was no longer her. I literally felt it. I saw it. It wasn't a Bible. Nobody told me. My grandmother was not there anymore. And then I was like going, okay, where are you? I felt that. So I wanted to feel that with my dad. But I woke up at 3 a.m. and, you know, I always check to see if he's breathing, and he wasn't breathing, and he was already cold. So it was funny because I was like, Papi, are you here? Are you here? And I was like reaching, like,
wow.
But he was gone, you know? And I wanted that feeling with him, but I couldn't, you know? I think it was once in a lifetime, but that feeling is the moment where I became a very spiritual person when my grandmother passed, because I experienced, you know, you hear people tell you, you read books, but when you feel something like that yourself, you know that we are just a vessel. We are just a vessel, Alejandro. It's crazy. We truly are just a vessel.
Wow.
And I learned it by experience. Isn't that crazy?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I knew he was gone. And, you know, that whole time of death thing isn't even real because that's not his time.
So
let's talk about happy things.
They were immigrants, right?
Yes.
Do you think being an immigrant gave you a superpower?
Oh, for sure.
Like what?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, we had to do it ourselves. Nobody picked up. If I wanted clothes, I had to work for the clothes. And I worked for clothes. I literally worked for clothes. I used to walk into parties and say, don't judge me by my shoes. I'm not pretentious. I love clothes. I truly love clothes. I am exactly where I am supposed to be. And the first year that I was a designer, I was embarrassed to say I'm a designer. I'm like, I'm not a designer. I mean, truly, I feel I was more of a stylist than a designer. I became a designer and I had to own it because it's like you. Before you did all this.
Yeah, I was not a nutrition expert.
Right. And now you're a nutrition. And sometimes in the beginning, you're like, well, how am I an expert?
Exactly.
Right?
I'm not a doctor. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I love clothes and I appreciate everything. And I had to work for it. I mean, my mom, literally, we would get like 7 pieces for school. And they all had to match each other so we can make 20 outfits. And it was a great childhood.
What did they...
No me faltaba nada.
Wow. What did they teach you about resilience and hard work and work ethic?
Grit. My God, grit. You got to work for it. Nobody's coming to save you. Not in love, not financially. Nobody's coming to save you.
Wow.
Don't be looking for your sugar daddy. Become the sugar mama.
I love that. I'm going to tell my friends that.
I mean, I don't want a sugar daddy. I mean, I definitely like being with self-promotion, but I want to be able to, you know, to be a matriarch.
Going back to those times, if you could whisper something to 13-year-old Alina, what would you tell her?
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't waste time and energy and heartbeats on that. Don't be scared. We're all just trying to do the same thing. We all are trying to do the same thing. Even Kike over there, Kike, we've had conversations about that. Right?
Wow.
Am I allowed to talk to Kike?
Yeah. So you've said before, God is my mentor.
Yes.
Why?
Because I believe, I truly, when I went through that time with my business, I went to church every single day. I have a Jesus pen on me all the time. I'm not a religious fanatic. I'm a very spiritual person. I went to church every single day. I carry my prayers. When they're answered, they go into another envelope. And once a month, I open that envelope of all the things I was fighting for back then. And he answered every one of them, not in the time I asked for, maybe not in the way I asked him, but he answered everyone because I was very focused on what I wanted. I worked for it. I prayed for it. I walked the walk, talked the talk, did the vision board, you know, and I'm still doing that. I came back from the trip. I said, I'm moving. I'm selling my apartments. I'm going to be with my kids and my family. And I made the decision, and it was like, I'm going to leave the view. I'm going to leave the water. I'm going to leave this. What am I going to gain from it? And it's the pros and cons. Where are you in your life? What do you need? What do you need physically, tangibly, in your heart, in your soul? What brings you the most happiness? And if you can put all that on paper and really work towards that, you can get it. You really can get it. And it doesn't happen overnight. And it's not every day is a happy day. I mean, there's days that I'm like, oh, you know, but then tomorrow is just, you know, we could have a problem in our aviation company and I kind of start freaking out a little bit. And 3 days later, we're having the best day ever. So it's kind of like you got to flow and you got to know that, and you experience this, or is life just perfect for you every day?
It's not.
And you know that it's kind of like this, right? Growth is like this. And my biggest thing is I just want to always continue to grow in every way. And I, even at QVC, I fight with the vice president. I need to grow. And it's not that being where I am is not great. It's just not who I am. You know, I want to do more. I want to grow in every single way that I can, even as a parent, even as a daughter. You know, even as a grandmother, I want to be a better mother to my kids. I want to be a great grandmother to my children. I want to be a better daughter every day. I want to be a great boss every day. Like, I don't want to act in certain ways, and I try not to sometimes because you know how we are with it. We want everything a certain way. And so I always want to just become better.
But are you able to celebrate the victories?
Absolutely.
Be grateful for you already have?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every day.
I love that.
Every day I'm grateful for everything I have. I count my blessings every single day, 5 of them every single day. It's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning.
What rituals keep you strong?
So prayer, meditation. Meditation for me, it means just, I'm not a really good meditator. I'm not going to lie because my mind's always going. But it's kind of like, for me, it's that morning where I'm playing with my dog and making my coffee, and I just have like my moments that where I am, and I'm so grateful for where I am and then what I'm going to do. And then the movement comes right after that. Nutrition, movement. And those are the ways that I take care of myself. Okay. I move, I exercise, I supplement. Yes, you can. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to share that too.
Yeah.
And I do all those things, and I exercise. I have the Oura ring that keeps me accountable, the 10,000 steps. That's how I keep the vessel going so that I can achieve all the things that I want to achieve, not only for myself, but for everybody around me.
Wow. The first time I walked into your beach house, remember?
Yeah.
You had this massive vision board, and we basically connected through it because I do it every single year. So how do you manifest now?
Same exact way.
Same thing?
Yeah. I mean, just yesterday I added 2 things on my vision board, and it's laying there looking at the ocean, getting all the vibrations coming in and out. Same thing. So it's just like making.
How do you do it? Can you tell people?
Yeah. So I have it divided into sections. You know, I have health, I have family, I have business, I have wealth, I have, relationships, homes, what I want to be doing. Do I want to be on a boat? I put all the little visually seeing myself doing all these things. And just now I just changed it because I want to go back to suburbia, and I put what that life is going to look like now. And I'm very clear as where I want to be. What does this look like? I already see the grandchildren going to the first day of school with their little uniform on, and
so cute.
And I want to have a house full of food and the kids in the back. And I'm kind of going back to when I raised my kids, but obviously I don't have to be there all the time because they have parents.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So I kind of want to surround myself in that new life now and be closer to my boyfriend now so that we can start planning ahead.
Wow. So you have all these beautiful tees and all these beautiful T-shirts with different quotes. What's your favorite
I am love.
Quote? That's the one?
So I love I am blessed, but the 3 symbols are so impactful. I mean, they are so universal, and they speak everything. And it's my #1 seller for 18 years.
The same one.
The same 3 symbols. No matter how I put them, it's what everybody wants. So, and then I am love because I am love. And I have no problem saying it. I am made of love. I am love. I love very hard, very deep, and very dedicated. And all I want in return is, that same love and respect back. And if that's not your thing, then, what can I say?
I love you. You are pure love.
Love is everything.
And I'm so grateful to have you in my life.
Oh my God, you too. I didn't even let you talk.
That's what I wanted. It's your episode. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Alina didn't just build a multi-million-dollar empire. She built a belief system, right? You have to keep going. You have to make decisions. That even in chaos, you can choose peace. Even in heartbreak, you can give love and you can be happy. Even when life knocks you down, you can rise in style. Always.
Always in style. Always in style. Always wear the shoes.
Always iconic. Because failure, it was never part of her vocabulary. And maybe it doesn't have to be part of yours either. So remember, keep on going. Yes, you can.